Rolling out a new property in Cut Bank, Montana with you here today. My name's Miles McLaughlin at Wilco Land. What we do is we buy and sell raw land. That's our specialty. That's our niche. This property is pretty cut and dry. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it or showing photos. So one of the major draws and selling points of this property is that, it is unrestricted. This is a part of the country where freedoms as a landowner still exist. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of areas that we work in where these freedoms don't really exist. There's zoning. There's the government's imposing on what you can and cannot do on your property as a landowner. So this is going to be one of those parts of the country. We're in rural Montana. We're just east of Glacier National Park. We're real close to the Rocky Mountains. It's going to be a rural location, yet it's going to have close access to the mountains. So I'll pull up the location here on satellite imagery or on Google Maps, I should say. You can see you're going to have some fly fishing opportunities along the rivers here. There is an airport right outside of Cut Bank. And then you've got Glacier National Park right here. And then the East Glacier Park entrance is actually really close to this property. So we'll just kind of look at it here. So just 43 minutes. So like I said, the major selling point of this property is going to be location and being in Montana, being in rural Montana, having 4 unrestricted acres where you as a landowner get to choose what you do on a property, right? So they're not those type of freedoms. Just you'd be surprised how many states don't offer those freedoms, right? And so when I think about this property, it's unique because there's a lot of stuff on the property, and I'll talk about that stuff here in a second and what I know about it. I buy all of my properties sight unseen as is. Had a photographer go out and capture the property. I've dealt with land like this. I acquired it as is. Everything on the property was sold with the property. I'm selling it as is. The next buyer is going to have to deal with that. There could be money to be made on the property. There could be things you want to salvage and things you want to use. I'm not quite sure where, what people are going to say, or it's going to be something where you might post a couple of Facebook or Craigslist ads and pay a guy $1,000 to clear your property off. There's going to be people interested and you can find people to pay to clear this off. People are going to want this stuff. Like there's ag equipment, there's farm equipment, there's boats on the property. When I think about this property, I think about maybe like a landing point for Glacier National Park, fly fishing opportunities. It's some of the most affordable property in the state of Montana, and it's a large acreage, right? So maybe you can build on it if you want to build on it someday. Maybe it's a pole barn and you run power to it for RVs and campers. Maybe you can even get, approval for some sort of mini little RV site. Maybe you have 8 RV sites on the way into Glacier. Don't you think that'd be a popular idea for people passing through? Housing and lodging is impossible to get in Glacier. So being 40 minutes away is nothing. There's millions of people going to Glacier National Park every year. And so being 40 minutes outside in rural Montana, it's kind of nostalgic. It's kind of cool, being out in the country like this. People are looking for these type of investments. So this is a property, we're looking at it, getting more into the land itself. We're selling it as is. I'm pretty sure this van's the property. Whatever you want to do with this stuff, I don't care. Like I said, we acquired the property as is. We're selling it as is. You as a buyer are going to have to figure out what you want to do with it once you acquire it, right? And like I said, a couple ideas is you might salvage it. There might be a lot of interesting stuff that you like on the property, or it might be something you just post a couple ads and pay a guy to come haul all this crap off over time, right? And so you can see there's power lines. It's going to be pretty simple to put a septic and well on this property. You might even have access to city utilities. Let's check here. Doesn't look like we would usually advertise that if we had it. But on 4.5 acres, you're not going to have any issue with the septic and well. So RVs and camping is allowed. Like I said, it's an area where there's no zoning. There's going to be everything within reason, right? We talk about freedoms as a landowner, but that those exist here, like I said. So, if you want a long-term investment in Montana, Glacier County, Montana, just 40 minutes. I mean, this drive in reality is probably more like 30 minutes, and I don't even know, maybe Montana's a state where you can have a beer cracked between city limits, when you're driving in the country. I know Idaho has a rule or a law like that, right? And so you're in rural Montana, there's going to be hunting opportunities, there's going to be fly fishing opportunities, you're going to have a lot of close access to Northwest Montana and what this stretch of the Rockies is going to have to offer. So when I think about land use out here, there is a golf course. I think out here, this is located off Golf Course Trail. There's an RV park, so we know that's popular. For me, when I think about this property, I think about, an RV park. I think about campsites. I think about maybe some tiny homes for people coming into Glacier. Or I'm just somebody who wants storage. I want pole barns up. I want maybe a shop. I'm going to store my toys out there, my trailers, do what the same guy did previously. He stored all of his stuff out there. It looks like he put together kind of a shelter belt on the property line like that. The property's fenced, and there's a bunch of, I don't want to call it junk because I'm sure there's salvageable, farm equipment out there and ag equipment, but this person had just moved on apparently in their life and wanted to leave it. So you can see that stuff all sitting out here. And you can see the property's fenced too. So there are some street views to take a peek at it. It's flat. It's going to offer a lot of tangible use in terms of like, you could drive up here with your RV tomorrow and start using the property, or you can wait to build someday. So again, Highway 2 is kind of famous for going into Glacier. You'll have some local kind of Western bars out here in this neck of the woods. So don't have a lot else to share. If you are looking at viewing the property, I suggest using Onyx Maps. All you do is plug in the coordinates. I have the elite version here. I mean, with this property itself, you really don't even need it. It's probably fenced when you get out there. And you can see kind of the shelter belt, the access point there. There's another access point right here too with that boat and the barn. So it's going to be pretty easily distinguishable when you get out there, but Onyx Maps can be pretty helpful too because it does have the property outlined. I believe this stuff is all on the property as well. You see how the property line is over the road like that? Everything should be shifted, this way. Or no, should be this way. No, this way if you look at my camera. So if you look at my mouse, everything should be shifted. Really the property line should be on this right here like that. And so that would make everything shift over like right here. You see how that space right there is about, let's just say this space is the road. That's about 10 yards. So really this property line on this side should shift. This is a GIS overlay. It's not 100% perfect, but this property line should shift this way about 10 yards. See, so that's like your fence line right there on the property. So a lot of tangible use, maybe you get creative with business ideas. Maybe it's just a long-term investment. The last thing I want to touch on was comps in Montana. We're asking a really reasonable price of $49,000 for 4 acres with power available right there. Even including, this area out here, I mean, you can't find, here's 20 grand for, much less acreage, and here's half an acre for 20. And I guess I don't even know where that is. This might be in like, Kevin, Montana, which is much further away. The Glacier National Park, probably. Well, look, we'll see where Kevin is. So Kevin, is significant. Here's Cut Bank. Kevin's even further east. So we're getting further away from Glacier with these comps. But just look of anything. We're already at 40 grand, 45, 50 for half an acre. Very similar properties are selling, with 4 acres, right? Here's half an acre for 60. Like I said, this is an interesting deal. There must not be legal access to it or something. So otherwise that's kind of a cool deal for 21 acres. But, that, like I said, I think we're offering some pretty cool land for the price point. Here's 5.9 acres in Cut Bank for 85 grand. We're $35,000 less than that. We're open to offers. We're in the business of moving land fast. So if you're a cash buyer, get with me. Let's get something done. We do offer seller financing for those interested. And I do have other properties in Montana on the homepage. Feel free to take a peek at those. I will end the video with a disclaimer here. This isn't legal advice. This isn't real estate advice. This is me simply sharing my opinion on the property through my due diligence and through my experience in the industry. You as a buyer need to conduct your own due diligence and make sure this is going to be the right land investment for you. We sell all of our property as is here at Wilco Land. So get with me if you have questions. If you need to talk with somebody at the county, you want to talk with a real estate agent, happy to refer you over to people like that too. But in summary, kind of touched on that property. And if you have questions, you can call or text me here, 605-250-1256. Thanks for tuning in.